being shoved off the nightstand, broken bulb fragments scattered across the floor. I watched as my mother's light started to lose its shine. Shocked by a blow from a lover who was half full, her glasses now flying across the room. They had to have both been artists. Her face, his canvas, with each stroke he'd paint his anger and anguish, and then she'd paint right over the blacks of his blues. What happens when disagreements turn into wrestling matches? He's laying the smack down as a 4-year-old yells from the crowd, "Get off my mama!" Baby was just playing. Go back to your room, escapes faintly through the grip around her throat, and I choke. How could these scrawny little arms lift the weight of my mother's pain? How could they engage in mortal combat before temperatures of sub-zero cause me to get over here in a corner and freeze? Why can't she finish him, be finished with him? I mean, that would be the ultimate flawless victory. I'm so afraid that if I don't pray hard enough that it may end in a fatality. So, dear God, please grant my mother the serenity not to take her frustrations out on me. I wasn't trying to talk back. I was only clarifying. See, I'm trying to be perfect for her so that we can be perfect for him, so that he won't have to hit her and I won't have to think about killing him. Amen. See, it confused me to watch my mother be...
Hey ladies, welcome back to Somebody Come Listen to This podcast. I am your host, Nava. If you are new here, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and let's get right into this video. Y'all, I am very, very tired. So if I sound tired or sick, that is because I am sick and tired of working and I'm resting up. Today is Saturday. So today I wanted to talk about domestic violence because October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month and a lot of women have been through domestic violence. I, for one, have not, but I know a lot of women have. I know women personally that have, and some women just don't know what to do. I don't want to victim blame, but there may be some things that are said in this video that may make women think that it's victim blaming, but whatever is said in this video is only to help women to do better, to get out of situations and to not get in situations in the first place. So I'm going to show a lot of videos of women who have been through it or who know people who are in it, or even men who are giving advice to women, and I'm just going to jam pack this video with advice. So share it because so many women are going through it and you could save a life. So I will probably be in and out during this video. So let's get into it, ladies.
Ladies, ain't nobody coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. You have to save yourself, and you can't walk a straight line doing it. If you're new to my page, my name is Alex. I'm a narcissistic abuse survivor, recovery coach, and licensed therapist in Virginia. If you're interested in therapy or coaching, click the link in the bio and book a session. Ladies, I'm not the therapist and I'm not the coach who is going to tell you to do things the right way, to walk that straight and narrow when you're dealing with a toxic, highly narcissistic, pathologically narcissistic, damn near psychopathic man. You can't do it. To effectively remove yourself from this situation, you have to begin to think like a damn psychopath. That is the only way you're going to be able to get out of this manipulationship. You're not in a relationship. You cannot sit down with this man and tell him how you feel, how his behaviors have affected you, what you want, what you need. You can't do that and expect to have a reasonable conversation. What you can expect is that he will take this information, use it to craft a narrative so he remains in control, and he will use that information to further hurt you and destabilize you so that you don't go anywhere. You have to remember, this man's fear is exposure. He doesn't want you to have what he deems a disproportionate reaction to his abuse and disrespect, because in his mind, he's entitled. He should be able to treat you however he wants to treat you, and no one gets to know about it. He doesn't want you to gain the strength or the clarity to be able to expose him. So he stays 2 steps ahead of you by using that information, by using your truth, by using your insecurities to destabilize you and get his flying monkeys to continue to enable his behavior and effectively gaslight you. In order to remove yourself from this situation, you're going to have to start being quiet. You're going to have to start being strategic. And part of that means you're going to have to start lying. You're going to have to present misinformation, not only to this man, but to anyone associated with him. Because when you get ready to go, when you start gaining your strength, they throw the truth in your face to harm you, not to help you, not to rectify the situation. But if they throw a lie in your face, it's not going to land. It's not going to cripple you because it doesn't mean anything. You got to stay 2 steps ahead of these people to effectively save yourself. Ladies, forgive yourself for who you're about to become, because it's war. Psychological.
A lot of problems that we have is that we think that these men think that we are stupid. They know we're not stupid. They know you're not stupid. That man knows that you are not dumb. What he does know and what he is acting upon and why he keeps doing what he's doing and treating you the way that he's treating you is because he knows your self-esteem is low. Want to talk about it? Men being very discerning creatures gives them an advantage over a lot of women who lack the self-esteem and lack their ability to discern what is what. It's not that we don't have discernment. It is the fact that we don't operate in it in the same way that men do. Men listen to that shit and they pay attention. They are observers. They are hunters. That is in their nature. So their nature is to observe their prey in a different kind of way that women just don't. So no, he knows exactly that you know what he's doing and how he's doing it. But he knows that you have low self-esteem. He knows that you're not going to leave because he knows that you think that you can't find anything better. And as long as you stay in that mindset, he has you where he wants you. He can continue to cheat and say sorry. He can continue to mistreat you and say sorry. He can continue to talk to you crazy, and all he has to do is apologize, and you're going to keep taking him back. He can continue to love bomb you over and over and over again because he knows you're not going to go anywhere, because your self-esteem is sitting there telling you that because this relationship is not as bad as the last one, it's really not that bad. Like, girl, you out here comparing bad with bad. So this brings the situation to be less about him and more about you and where you are in your mental space and in your self-esteem and in your insecurities. Your insecurities will always tell on you. They will always snitch on you. Before you tell on yourself, your insecurities will tell on you, whether that be to the men you decide to date, whether that be from the friendships that you decide to get in. How you make decisions, how you stand on your boundaries, if you have boundaries, how you set your standards, where your integrity lies, where your moral lies. Those are decisions, right? And you move in a certain way when you have a certain kind of integrity. You move in a certain way when you have certain kind of boundaries. You move in a certain way when your self-esteem is elevated at a space that is healthy. So because you are telling on yourself, you don't have to open up your mouth and tell a man nothing in today's world, because I'm not saying that men, they may not be emotionally stable sometimes, but they still have the discernment and the intellect to see right through your bullshit that you try to portray. So you have to be careful in dating while your self-esteem is low. This is why, let me tell you something. So in 2022, I wanted to launch a boot camp to do self-esteem, but God said I wasn't ready yet. So God introduced me to somebody to show me my patterns and where I was weak at within my insecurities, right? Now, anybody else will be like, oh my God, no, you fail. I didn't fail because I didn't see this insecurity, and I didn't see why men would choose my type of woman, right? It's not that I don't have the education. It's not that, I'm not pretty enough. It's not that my body is not good. Like, I have all of those qualities going for myself. But I also have a problem standing on boundaries within relationships. Well, I had a problem standing on boundaries within relationships because of my abandonment issues My abandonment issues would make me show up in a way where I would put other people before me because I didn't want them to feel abandoned by me. I didn't want them to feel as if I didn't care. So I would put my mental health on the line, and I would put them first while sacrificing mine, and call that love. I say all that to say, in April, I'm launching a self-esteem boot camp, and it is going to be a live boot camp where you're going to see me live. And I want to help women work on their self-esteem so that they won't become the playground for narcissists and broken men. At some point, women, we have to raise the standard so that they have no other choice but to get their shit together. And raising the standard means denying them access to you. Raising the standard means setting boundaries and standing on them. Raising the standard means stop raising these boys into men. If their mama couldn't do it, what makes you think? In the voice of K. Michelle, I want us to do better so that we can... You get what I'm trying to say. Y'all have a great day. I love y'all.
Attack me, pull my hair out, slap me in front of my children. All because we were talking about groceries. And now you want to be all calm? Let's talk about the bald spot in my head from my hair that you just pulled out. Yeah, look at it.
Yelling and screaming.
I have a right to yell. It's better than hitting people. Did I hit anybody?
Yelling around the kids.
Did I hit anybody?
Discussion that you know you're going to provoke yourself to get angry.
How did I know you weren't going to apologize for ripping my hair out of my fucking head? Did I rip your hair out? Did I hit you, Johnny? Did I hit you? And you had hit me back. And you hit me back. And you hit me back. Yes, you did.
And that was it. So all this about me getting close to you, hitting?
Yeah, because you're abusive. You're an abuser. And you're a woman beater, like your father.
All the reasons why to pack your stuff to leave.
Okay.
That's how you feel.
Okay. I'm not leaving my kids. I'm not leaving my kids.
Okay.
All the reason for you to be a better man.
On camera?
Circle, make a circle.
Get him up, let him get up, let him get up, let him get up. Fight back, nigga! Fight back, nigga!
Tickling can be a form of abuse, and here's how. During my first abusive marriage, my husband convinced me that I was so unattractive that the only time he touched me was to either tickle me or poke me. It got to the point where these ticklings and poking attacks felt like physical assault. And it was, because I was saying no. You see, tickling has turned into a socially acceptable way of ignoring a person's consent, or lack thereof. Touching a person's body in any way that they don't want is assault. Just because the autonomic response is going to be smiling or laughing doesn't necessarily mean that that person is having a good time. No, not all tickling is abuse. But I would challenge you to ask the people in your life how they feel about you tickling them before you continue to do so. You may be surprised. They may not like it.
Yeah, so we can crash.
I love you too.
I don't care what.
What's disgusting?
The fact that your dad raped you.
Oh yeah?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I need to fix myself?
Yeah, fix it.
So it looked like it bothered me? It looks like, oh, you want it to bother me? It did at a point. It did at a point in my life.
I don't care.
It did, and it doesn't no more. It doesn't no more, and that's why I'm kicking you out, because you are the devil. You are the devil. Yes, you are the devil.
Okay.
And this is what the devil does.
Okay.
You're not gonna put me back in that space.
I don't gotta put you in any space.
You're not.
I don't gotta put you in any space.
You're not. You're not gonna put me back there, because I've come to peace with my past, and I've grown a lot from it.
Okay.
Now,
I'm proud of you. But your dad still molested you. That's all I'm saying.
How is it that a person can feel like they can treat you like crap over and over and over again, disregard your feeling, make you feel like you're less important than anybody else in their life, expect your forgiveness over and over again, continue to break their word to you until you've come to the point where you don't even care if they break their word anymore? Because through all that pain, you've lost something for them. It's not that you don't love them. It's not even that you want to leave the person or not be their friend or their partner anymore.
Maybe you've just accepted that they aren't the person that you always wanted them to be or that you thought they were. And you have not only lost faith in them, you've lost hope for the relationship, and you've become numb. You don't even expect them to do right by you anymore. You're all cried out, you're done having your feelings hurt, and you're emotionally disconnected. So how is it that a person who can take you through all of that anguish, all of that pain, how is it that they can expect you just to go back to the way you used to be with them? You know, when you had faith in them, when you trusted them, when you didn't see how selfish they really were, how self-absorbed they were, when it seemed like they cared about your feelings, they cared about protecting your heart, when you thought they were the person that wouldn't purposely do anything to make you feel bad, to disrespect you. You see, sometimes when you stop complaining, when you stop saying what bothers you, when you stop trying to convince that person that what they're doing to hurt you is just wrong and they're taking you for granted, for some reason, they think that you've forgotten it, that it's over with. They have this crazy notion in their head that they don't have to make up for anything now. It's over. I'm forgiven. And then when you don't give them the love, respect, honor that they think they deserve, they try to make you feel guilty. Then you're the mean one. You're the one that's not doing right by them. You know why they feel that way? Because selfish, self-absorbed people are only affected by their own pain. They're only affected when they feel like they're losing something, when they're not getting from you what they desire. And then it's the woe is me. Suddenly they're lonely. They miss you. They want to know how to make things right, how to get things back, how to make you feel attached to them again. They want to know what they can do to make you feel like you used to feel about them. But when you were telling them, when you were telling that person that whole time, you're hurting me, you're disrespecting me, please don't do that. That's not right. You shouldn't treat me that way. Not to mention all the times you've forgiven them. You see, that's the part they try to leave out. They try to smooth over. Because their focus now is on everything you're not doing for them. On all the ways you're not making them feel comfortable, secure, loved. They don't feel important. But they conveniently leave out why you feel that way towards them. Those are the people who will never accept responsibility for the things that they do to other people because they're too damn selfish to do some self-examination. Listen, don't you dare let those people make you feel guilty for feeling the way you do, because it was because of them that caused that. Do not take credit for the way they treated you. You just take credit for what you allowed them to do to you from this point on. I love you. Be well.
I'm just going ahead and tell you like it is. In the Black community, abuse is acceptable. It's accepted. And if you want to argue with me, I don't care. You just be arguing with yourself because I see it every day, all day. In every dynamic, every type of relationship in the Black community, whether it's verbal, physical, between mothers and daughters, between sons, the whole dynamic, boyfriend, baby mama, baby daddy, abuse is accepted. And Black women are taught to accept it in relationships. Black women are taught to take abuse because it's a part of learning. And you're most likely doing something deserving to get that abuse. So stop acting shocked. Stop acting brand new. This has been an ongoing problem in the Black community. Black women are taught to be with a man, whether he has money or not, because he's a Black man and he's trying. And you must be doing something to stress him out if he has the results putting his hands on you. So stop acting like you don't understand how this could possibly happen. Okay? I'm not saying that's the situation with Kiki. Abuse can happen to anyone because abusers are great liars. Okay?
There are a lot of women who need abuse for love. Explain that. There are a lot of women who need abuse to feel love because they've been abused all their life. And most of the people who abuse them so-called supposedly love them. So there's a lot of women who like to fight just to fuck. Fight and make up. best sex you can have. So there's a lot of women who believe being toxic. When she get mad, she hits you in the head, knowing you don't hit her back or drop that fight, knowing there's a possibility you can go to jail.
And then fucking go to sleep.
That's toxic love. But as unhealthy as that is, that becomes an addiction.
Oh Lord.
Which is what I think we're watching with those two right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we had Wack here last week where we actually asked them, like, what is it an addiction?
You can get your woman addicted to because the dopamine, the chemicals that the brain produces, the emotions that's tied to the act of fighting that comes from the sex makes that fulfilling and appealing.
But what's the conclusion of a toxic relationship like that?
One of them go to jail and one die.
Damn.
They severely scar one another. And it causes childhood trauma for whatever child they produce.
So as much as I hate this man and don't like to look at his face or hear his voice, I have to agree with him. This is seen a lot in the black community. I'm not saying other races of women don't act like this, but this is he's saying it because he's seen it a lot. He's grown up around black women and black men, so he can speak on it. So this is what we see, this is what we hear, and this is what's true growing up with black women. So pay attention to this video, black women. Share this with your friends and family because we're going to break this. We're coming to the end of 2024. This cycle is going to break before the new year. We're going to break it. And with y'all's help, we're going to share these videos and it's not going to happen anymore.
Demons don't belong in therapy. They belong in hell. That entire relationship, you didn't realize you were involved with a demon. Once you moved in with him or he moved in with you, he switched up. Once he got you pregnant, he switched up. Once he put that ring on your finger, he switched up. That's because he's a demon in human flesh. He's on assignment by Satan to fuck your life up. Not only will he destroy your confidence and self-esteem, he will take from you, steal from you, burn through your money, use up your resources, sit up in the streets and talk about you like a dog to his side chick and his family and his inner circle of friends to ruin your reputation after you've been good to him. You think going to couples therapy is going to help your relationship? There's only so much a therapist can do, but they can't perform an exorcism. Rebuke that demon, get out of there, and go save yourself. You go to therapy.
Never, ever remain with a man who does not allow you to contact whomever you want. It is a very unpleasant thing. He controls you, and once he controls you, your life isn't your own anymore. And that's what controlling people do, is isolate you. So the minute they start chopping off people out of your life, that is red flag number.
Never trust a man that plays a victim. These are the type of men that do not know how to communicate, and they don't understand the importance of mental stimulation. They will never be able to accept accountability for their actions because they're going to blame other people. These type of men are extremely insecure. These type of men will physically and or emotionally abuse you. Like they will punch you or call you out your name and then blame you for their actions. These type of men do not like to be confronted when they are wrong. They will resort to violent actions or excessive violent verbal aggression. They will victimize you and play the victim. They never change because they don't think they are the problem.
I just wanted to make this video so that everybody understands, like, my husband was never abusive before. Like, this was the first time he's ever done anything like this. We were on a family vacation in Hawaii, and this happened. He's always had, like, drinking issues, but I don't know what set it off. I don't know what happened. All I know is that he wouldn't stop when he started, and I thought he was going to kill me. My poor baby was in the room through the whole thing, whole entire thing. And the only reason that I got away was because he threw my luggage over the balcony. We were on the 19th floor. And when he went to go throw it out, I grabbed my daughter and ran out of the room. But for hours, he was beating on me, knocking me unconscious over and over and over for probably up to 4 hours. Like, everything is so blurry to me. But I don't see a lot of stories about, like, one-time domestic abuse. And that's why I'm sharing this story, is because my husband never was like this before. This is the first time he's ever done anything like this, and it was so bad. And I just really pray that there's no other people going through this. I know there's other people going through this, and I hope that they see the self-worth in themselves to walk away from it. And I really appreciate all the support that I've gotten and continue to get from everybody. I mean, people that I've never met or talked to a day in my life are so supportive, and I really appreciate it, and it's really helping me get through this. This happened on the 1st of August, so it's still really fresh, and I'm finding different ways to cope with it, but I appreciate the support that everybody's been giving me, and I'm going to continue posting my journey of healing. I have to go see a plastic surgeon this week because there's 3 fractures in my face, my nose, and then here in my eye socket. So I will be posting that, and then going through tomorrow, I go to my first class to talk about a counseling class to talk about everything, and hopefully that helps me also. And I'm just happy that I'm alive and that me and my daughter are safe, and he's in jail where he should be, and I'm never going back. I'm never looking back. I'm going to keep moving forward and pushing forward.
Get out my video! I do not like you.
Go to sleep.
No, you go to sleep.
Go to sleep.
Exactly. Get out my video, punk. You know, I will literally whoop your ass.
What's up? What's up? Oh! No, go to sleep. 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 Go to sleep.
Ouch!
You hurt your hand.
Get off me.
Go to sleep. Okay, I. Okay.
That's what I thought.
TikTok creator known for sharing his romantic life is under arrest in Texas, charged with aggravated assault. Police say Ladarius Morshan Brownlee shot his girlfriend Zara Hashimi, leaving her with life-threatening injuries. Ladarius Brownlee, 28, of Northlake, is accused of shooting Siete Zara Hashimi, 28, early Friday morning after an argument following Independence Day celebrations. The fight turned physical, and Brownlee forced Hashimi into the back of his SUV. While driving, the argument continued until Brownlee stopped, pulled a firearm, and shot Hashimi above her right eye. Brownlee confessed during a 911 call, and to investigators. When officers arrived, they found Hashimi lying on the ground with life-threatening injuries. She was taken to Baylor Scott & White Medical Center in Grapevine. Brownlee was arrested on the scene and booked into the Denton County Jail on charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and deadly conduct discharging. Zara was initially in critical condition, with rumors circulating that she had been pronounced dead. However, her sister Dino confirmed that Zara is currently awake and stable, although she faces a long road to recovery.
Who have been traumatized by a narcissist, what normally goes wrong for them in therapy? They go to a therapist. Where are the pain points for them? Where are they being failed either by the therapist, or what do you think?
This is a big one. I'm really passionate about this one. So they get invalidated sometimes inadvertently by a therapist because there is it has to do with the ethics of licensed professionals. Licensed professionals are not permitted to diagnose somebody who's not in the room. So if somebody comes in and describes a narcissist, Ethically speaking, sometimes legally speaking, a therapist can't say, you just described someone who meets the criteria for, because you're not treating that person. So now you're mislabeling somebody, and that's actually defamation of character and all kinds of other things, even if it's accurate. So what therapists have been trained to do is redirect the problems back onto the identified patient, who is the person in the room. And these types of ethical guidelines and rules changed within different jurisdictions, different states, different countries, etc. What therapists have not been taught to do, which I believe is totally appropriate, is to draw conclusions based on enduring patterns.
Cool. I said fucking close. Fucking
about to happen next, but I'm already thanking God for what he's about to do. I can feel his hands around me, and I can feel him telling me just to my course stay true. I'm understanding that in my journey, I'm not always gonna have a clear view. I just gotta put again.
I swear I saw her do it.
Wait, that's it?
That's it. That's it.
That's a sign?
Yeah, that's it. She's still doing it. Hey babe, I wanna follow them. Okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, just what you're saying. Oh my god.
She's doing it.
Just follow them. Just follow them. Should we call the police?
Yeah, call 911.
Okay, can I have your phone? Hi, we're in the parking lot of Bloomingdale's on, what is this?
I think it's Canoga.
On Canoga. It's like right across from the Best Buy. We just saw a woman do the universal sign for help, or the hand signal, so we don't really know what the situation is, but she was kind of like forced into this car by this guy, and we're following the car now, but he like had his hand on her neck and put her... Yes, ma'am. Yeah, the license plate is 9E383. It's a white G-Wagon. She's telling me not to do it.
The blinkers on.
Oh, they're pulling into this gas station. Just pull into something next to him, I guess. Telling you she's gonna do it again. I swear I saw her do it.
Wait, that's it?
That's it. That's it.
That's a sign?
Yeah, that's it. She's still doing it. Hey babe, I wanna follow them. Okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah, just wait. Oh my god.
Wait, I think she's doing it again.
She did it again. Just follow them. Just follow them. Should we call the police?
Yeah, call 911.
Okay, can I have your phone? Okay, thank you. Hi, we're in the parking lot of Bloomingdale's on, what is this?
I think it's Canoga.
On Canoga. It's like right across from the Best Buy. We just saw a woman do the universal sign for help, or the hand signal, so we don't really know what the situation is, but she was kind of like forced into this car by this guy, and we're following the car now, but he like had his hand on her neck and put her... Yes, ma'am. Yeah, the license plate is 9E383. It's a white G-Wagon. She's telling me not to do Oh, they're pulling into this gas station. Just pull into something next to him, I guess. Hi, we're at the Mobile gas station. I don't know. What are the cross streets been? Oh, he's getting out of the car. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna go get her.
Yeah, go get her.
Here, just keep the phone. Just keep the phone with the police on. Do you want to come with us? Go in your car. He's inside. Thank you so much for following me. Get in this car right here, okay? Okay. Here, you can get up front. It's fine. Just in there. I'll get in the back. I'll get in the back.
Put your seatbelt.
Just go.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's okay. 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 Hey, we have the police on the phone. You're safe. Hey, we have the police on the phone. You're safe. It's okay.
So I don't know if this was real or a skit, and I tried to find out if it was, but a lot of people in the comments were saying they thought it was a skit. I originally thought it was real. I still don't know, but it is still a good hand sign to know, just in case you see anybody using it, or just in case you need to use it. And it's still good to know. People need to be aware that there is a sign for people who are in distress and need someone to help them. So let's get back to the videos.
Stop! What is this supposed to do? Are you kidding me?
Hey, babe. I want you to try to do the 6ix9ine impression.
He murdered her. She asked for a divorce. He started stalking her. And then vandalized their home. Like, he left the house, vandalized their home later, installed an app on the daughter's iPad to listen in. He heard a male's voice. He went there and he shot them. He shot the guy she was with 3 times, and then he shot her. He made their daughter an orphan. Violence against the victim increases by 75% after separation for the first 2 years. So if the next time you ask someone why they didn't just leave.
Hi, it's Abby again. I'm the one who was shot 3 times, once in my face, once in my heart, and once in my lung. I wanted to answer one of the biggest questions I got, and this is really hard for me, but Brian is dead. Brian shot himself after he shot me 3 times, and he didn't make it. And I will never get justice. He's dead. There is no justice for that. There is no justice for me. And I just wanted to let you guys know that the only justice I'm ever gonna get is telling you guys what happened to me. Telling you guys, not to do the things that I did and not to make the mistakes that I did. You guys sharing my story and you guys viewing my story is my justice. It's all I need. And I really thank you guys for being supportive and being there for me, because I really struggled for a long time with this is my fault. I struggled with the fact that he's dead, and there's nothing that can fix that. Nothing. My son lost his dad that day. He deserved a better dad, he did, but he lost his dad, and that is wrong. But I just wanted to let you guys know that you guys are my justice. Letting you guys know what happened to me is my justice. And I love all of my fans and followers. You guys are amazing, and you guys create such a support system that it's crazy. Thank you guys for listening, and I just wanted to answer your question.
Text you like a fucking moron! Start the car! With the car keys! Stop. No! Because I gotta go and you're fucking running out the door. Oh, I could get his lunch is ready, but I'm not gonna put it like... I did everything. I did everything. What? What did you say? I don't give a f***. Move your move! You have to make room for me! I gotta grab shit back. Like, you should have sat in the back seat. That would have been real convenient. That way I had the front seat and I can put my shit there. I can grab my shit as I'm rushing around. Because now I cannot, like, that's, again. Like, dude, you don't give a shit. You truly don't. Sitting there whining and complaining about some dumbass shit that I'm sure is fabricated so someone can feel bad for you. That's what you do. Somehow, every day, like, I'm actually with you. Not the days I'm not. You won't say shit, I don't care. It's like something's wrong. You're sick. You're this. You're that. You're what the f***?
And what's next? The classic word salad.
Who gives a f***? Like, if you were doing shit, I would care. But you're not, like, that's like, you took 2 classes yesterday.
A man driving unsafe with you in a car on purpose when he's mad is an abuse people don't talk about.
Let's talk about it. Driving over 90 miles an hour on a gravel road, sometimes in the winter covered in snow and ice, was a common occurrence while driving with my dad. If he was angry, he would start driving faster and faster, and if we ever spoke a concern about how quickly he was driving, he would drive even faster and then say it was our fault if the car would crash. And he said that the lives of our family was in our hands and in our mouths because we needed to be quiet. And I quote, "Every time you open your mouth, I'm going to drive faster. And it's going to be your freaking fault if we end up in the ditch." Sometimes he would cover up the odometer with like a scarf or a glove or something so we couldn't see how fast the car was going. Because my dad is an officer, when he's been pulled over, he was able to schmooze the officers, so nothing ever changed about his driving habits. It's honestly a miracle that we survived.
What happened? I had better take my action because I was trying to take the baby from her.
Watching that video is so triggering, not only because today marks 1 year since it happened, but because I only just discovered that video existed. If you have ever questioned whether evil exists in this world or not, go look into the eyes of a DV survivor and ask them. It was always a matter of when, not if I was going to get out, but when. I was hoping to get together money. I was hoping to be able to have a plan, but it didn't work out that way. His hatred for me seemed to be growing. Everything I did annoyed him. I know that if I didn't go to the police when I did in September, that I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be here today to be able to tell you this story. And I thought by posting that video, I wasn't trying to make it my identity. I just thought that if I posted it and enough people saw it, then not only will I be spreading awareness and hopefully another woman won't get hurt, but then maybe he won't actually, end my existence because so many people will have saw that video. They will have known who it was. Anyone going through something like this right now, my heart is with you and breaks for you. And I pray for your safety. And to all of you who have offered me words of support, I can't thank you enough.
Why this isn't talked about more, I don't know. Abusers do not want you to sleep. When you're tired, you can't think clearly. When you're tired, you are more receptive to gaslighting. I don't want to take this too far, but sleep deprivation is a military interrogation tactic. It's literally used by special ops because it works. And when the military uses it, it is a highly debated and controversial tactic. And yet it's being used on victims of abuse across the globe. Sleep deprivation is a tactic used by abusers to control you. Think about it. You're dragging your exhausted butt to work the next day. Maybe you even lose your job. But imagine being woken up in the middle of the night with an accusation. You're exhausted and the accusation is relentless. You're more likely to just agree with it so that it stops, so that you can go back to sleep. And let's not underestimate the abuser's emotional gratification from watching you suffer. Also, fun fact, sleep deprivation is physical abuse.
When a woman plans to leave or leaves a domestic violence situation, that's typically the most dangerous time for her. For our series, Love Don't Live Here, I wrote about 4 ways that you can practice self-care, how you can create a safety plan, and how you can safely leave domestic abuse. Surviving abuse is possible, and more Black women deserve to practice self-love and support into themselves after surviving such a horrific ordeal.
Why did it all just start clicking for me? Our mothers, the women from this past generation before us, so many of them stayed in their relationships, right? And they get praised for it now by their sons. They stayed in relationships where they were not being treated well, where they were being abused. And they took a lot of crap in the name of like being a good woman. A lot of our mothers were very, very giving women. They gave a lot to their husbands. They gave everything they had to their kids, and in particular, their sons. Their sons were watching their fathers, and their sons were watching their mothers accept that behavior from their father. I mean, as straightforward as it is, men of our generation are walking around looking to continue that cycle. It's like the scariest game of tag that none of us asked to be in. And the women of our generation are literally running for the hills. Oh my God, we have such a big task.
So the following information is about to trigger some people. There are women right now who are with the loves of their lives, their Prince Charming, their unicorn man, and have no idea that in the next few months, weeks, few years, maybe the next decade or so, that same person is going to put a pew-pew in your head. That same person is going to machete you to death. That same person is going to strangle you to death. And you don't even know it. If you really think about it, anytime you've ever heard of a woman being unalived, who did it? Think about who did it, right? It's always a husband or an ex-husband, a boyfriend or an ex-boyfriend, a fiance or a baby daddy who did that shit. Think about it. Now, are there cases where women have been unalived by other women because of a jealousy issue or because they got into some kind of fight? Yes. Are there women who are unalived by complete strangers because they saw her running through the park that she runs through every day for exercise and they decided to attack her, essay her, and, you know, chopped her body up into pieces and threw her in the river or whatever? Yes. When you think about women who have unalived other women by running them over because they were drunk or because they were speeding through traffic or whatever, yes. Those cases typically count for like, what, 1% of everybody? The other 99% of women who are unalived, and I'm not talking about you fell down the stairs or had a heart attack. I'm talking about someone took your life. It's typically the man that you are laying next to at night. The man who claimed to love you, that's who did it. Think about every woman that you have ever heard of who was unalived. And think about who did that. Who did it? So let's keep it real about our so-called protectors, right? Because the person that is supposed to protect you is always, in most cases, going to be the person that you end up needing protection from. Let that sink in.
This comment is saying, even when you sign up for e-statements with your bank, sometimes they still mess up and send that mess to your house. Now, for context, the background conversation is us talking about financial abuse and how to set up your bank account and, you know, stash money away when you're trying to escape. So if you're worried about this happening and you do maybe have a part-time job or like a really close friend, see if you could set up 2 addresses. So your general address that you use like when you sign up that might be on your ID, and then your mailing address that you set up where just in case anything falls through the cracks, it gets set there, and have that address be either your work or you know, a close friend. Most banks will allow you to have multiple addresses on file. And if you don't have a job or a close friend where you can maybe have stuff sent to, go and get yourself a P.O. box. Now for me, I was very lucky in the fact that I did like have my own like small business where I was like doing videography and stuff for people, because I had personally gone and set up like a P.O. box for myself for my business. And so I literally just started having everything sent there. That way nothing would fall through the cracks. But again, that does require money. So if you have been doing really well at stashing money away and you know like each month you have like a couple $100s and you have that money to spend on a P.O. box, go ahead and do it. Obviously, if you go with USPS, it's cheaper. I think it's like, I don't know, $9 or $10 for a box or something like that. Whereas for me, I use UPS because it looks like a physical address that you can send stuff to. Sometimes companies don't want to send stuff to like an actual P.O. box. They want a physical address. So with UPS, I think it's like $33 or something like that a month for the smaller box. But that's if you have a business account. I think it's cheaper if you have a personal one.
What do we do? What do we do now that we know? 1, always assume that your partner is tracking your every move, looking through your phone. Maybe they have a tracker on your car. Always assume. So this means that now your cell phone is not safe. Your home computer or your laptop, iPad, whatever, it is not safe. If they have access to it, don't look up anything. Don't make phone calls. Try not to send text messages. Assume that they can find anything. In a DV situation, it becomes most dangerous when the victim leaves. 500 times more dangerous. I cannot stress this enough. That's what happened to me. I left and I didn't really know what I was doing, and I ended up almost dying because of it. Please be careful. I would suggest using like a library computer or a friend, family member, someone that you can trust that won't go and tell your abuser what you're doing. And you can start with a domestic help hotline, but I always say it's better if you can find local resources, just because then you can really know, what's in your area, what's available for you. The next thing is carefully start making a go back. You need to make copies of birth certificates for you and your kids, any court documents that you may have, driver's license, social security card, throw in some, like an extra set of clothes, a phone charger, even if you want to buy like a throwaway phone, if you have access to money, things like that, anything that you may need, and then hide this bag somewhere where they are not going to find it, even if you have to hide it at someone else's house. So that way you have access to it. You need to come up with a long-term exit plan and a short-term one, just in case they find out and you have to leave quickly. Don't ever assume you're going to have time. If you do have time to utilize a more long-term exit strategy, make sure you have somewhere to go, make sure someone, kind of knows that you're safe. Yeah, what else? I just went blank, hold on. I remember. So then you want to leave when the least expect it, whether it's while they're at work. I wouldn't do it while they're sleeping, because that doesn't seem safe to me. But find a good time and leave then. If you think they might have a tracker on your car, you can look. There are places that, are better to look under seats, in the trunk, glove box, any sort of compartment. You can look, but you may not see it. If you would rather, there's Uber. Just make sure they don't have access to your Uber or Lyft account, because they can find what your trips were. I would change passwords to email addresses, all that stuff prior to doing that. If you feel like they could gain access to it, or you can take a taxi. Unfortunately, in a domestic violence situation, the victim essentially just has to disappear. And you have to go somewhere where they just can't find you. I suggest going a couple to several hours away from your home location. That way, if you do, get tipped off, they know where you're at, you've got time to change locations. And if you have kids, then immediately file for an emergency protective order.
either way do that, but with kids there are like legal implications on like parental kidnapping and stuff. You don't want to deal with that. Rosalie wanted to say hi. She likes videos, right?
Yeah, I actually.
Say hi.
Hi.
Another thing I will say is that typically larger cities have more DV resources, and usually if you call them, then they can help you even with legal services. But document everything. So this video got really long, and I'll probably make a condensed version at some point, but anyway, here it is. Just make sure you leave safely and never assume, because these people will do quite literally anything and your life depends on it. Just be careful and take your time, have a good plan, but there is better out there and you deserve better.
Okay, so here's something that I would do if I was thinking about leaving an abusive relationship. I say that because I understand that a lot of people feel like they can't just up and leave due to various factors. I get it. If it were me, I would start saving immediately. If you don't have a job, I would say to get a little part-time job, get a full-time job, something. Start saving money immediately. Number 2, I would definitely say have a plan and stick with it. Know exactly when and how you're going to make the move. Number 3, and I made this mistake, do not tell the person that you're thinking about leaving. Do not tell them your escape plan. Do not tell them you're creating an escape plan. Do not tell them that you are saving. Don't tell them anything. And don't tell anybody in their family anything. Now, I didn't do this, but I'm going to recommend y'all to do this. Create a paper trail. Start calling the police. Go take out a protection order. I did do that. Go take out a protection order. Do it. And I know a lot of people like to bash people that run to the police, but here's the thing with that. If you're not doing anything wrong, anything illegal, harming somebody, putting their life in danger, you have nothing to worry about. No one deserves that. So I'm not here for anybody saying don't call the police, calling you a snitch, blah, 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 because that's definitely not what it is. It's holding your ass accountable. And the last thing I'm going to say is know how to protect yourself. Get into some sort of defensive tactics training. Get a firearm. Get a knife. Learn how to protect yourself. I don't care if you have to get a bat. Like, get something to protect yourself just in case you need it. A dog, yes. Get something because your safety is important, male or female. Please understand that domestic violence is not okay. And I hope that you leave. And I hope that you leave at the first sign of it. But the reality of the situation is most people don't leave until after 7 times. So yeah, good luck to you, stay safe, and I hope this helps somebody.
There's a very specific fear that is involved in leaving that only those of us who have gone through it understand. I endured extreme physical abuse, verbal and emotional as well. Leaving isn't something you do when you get in a fight and you go, I'm leaving, or we're done. It doesn't work like that in these types of situations. We're not afraid that they're going to get mad at us. We're actually terrified that they are going to physically harm or take our lives or the lives of people that we love when we leave. You actually have to plan and prepare to leave. And you have to hide money. And you have to... You have to be really smart about the way you leave because it could cost you your life or your children's lives. I get really emotional talking about this because no matter how much healing you do, no matter how much time you spend away from them, there's a very specific fear that is involved in leaving that only those of us who have gone through it understand. Once we leave, there is no going back. And many of us find ourselves on special programs to keep us hidden from them finding us. And we just feel like we're on the run for the rest of our lives. If you are one of those people in that circumstance, sign up for my texts and text me so that I can let you know what I did and how I got out. And I love you.
Here is an educational video to teach women what to do in the event that their partner, their spouse, their lover puts his hands around their throat and begins to squeeze. This is called strangulation. This is an educational video to help women escape and report the abuse they suffered. Domestic violence is not to be tolerated. It's nothing to be ashamed of. And it's time that more of us begin to speak up and help each other. When a man strangles a woman, he does extensive damage. And the thing is, I don't think women understand just how bad strangulation is, because they think it's something that happens in a moment. But there can be long-term damage from him squeezing and cutting your air supply off. Things like him breaking blood vessels in your throat, blood clots, swelling, dizzy spells, migraines. You can even faint or have a stroke. All of this is neurological, and it is connected to him cutting your air supply off. And in a lot of cases, having a hard time swallowing, it even changes the tone of your voice. I had it happen to me, and I remember my voice becoming raspy, after the fact. So what I would advise ladies to do if this ever happens, and it's horrific, I don't wish this on anyone. I screwed up and I didn't do what I was supposed to do by reporting it, because at the time that it happened, he took my car keys from me, he took my cell phone, and he trapped me. So I couldn't call for help. Here's what I would have done had I gone back in time. I would have went straight to the emergency room the very next day and reported my partner for what he did to me. Ladies, what you got to do is let him calm down. You wait it out to the next day. You pack an overnight bag. You make sure you have all your important papers, your birth certificate, your social security card, extra money. Go straight to the emergency room. Let him think you're going to work, okay? You go to the emergency room. You tell the doctors, I have a migraine. My lover strangled me last night. I'm having a hard time swallow. My head is pounding and I'm dizzy. Let them scan you. They'll put you through the MRI machine. Let them examine you for evidence of strangulation. And then the doctors will call the police. And now you have an open DV case and he's going to jail. If you go directly to the police, they may not help you. Go through the hospital and let the doctors help you and report it to the law.
We all have a girlfriend, a family member who is stuck in a DV situation that she can't control, that she can't flee. She's scared. She doesn't know what to do. And there's always something you can do to make her feel like she has a way out. Let me show you how. Post this on your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter, whatever social media you may have, and keep it there. Pin it. Keep it at the top. If you are stuck in isolation with someone who is hurting you, with someone who is abusive, if you are scared, message me and ask me if I'm still selling my makeup. I will know to keep checking in on you all the time. And when you need it, ask me specifically for my liquid eyeliner and give me a shipping address, and I will contact the authorities for you. Let's support each other. Let's be there for each other. Don't let anyone ever feel alone. And of course, count me in.
You're creating a safe space to get out safely because your safety comes first. One sudden move, and the moment that person sees that they're no longer gonna have control over you, they will want to hurt you. And many times we see this come up on the news where they unalive themselves, the wife and kids, and everyone is gone because it was that fear of not having control, because the entire time it's just to have control over you. So I always am an advocate for those getting out safely, to create a safety exit plan and to start having these safe conversations with your children, but also seek professional help. And if you are in a situation, reach out to the domestic violence hotline. But the thing that I learned the most really going through this is you can't go back. You can, if you are in a situation like this, do not, and I'll say this right now, normally I teach about this privately. don't go to family members and friends that they know about. That you might think you're safe there, but if they're going to hurt you, they will find you at these places to hurt you. When you get out, you stay out. That's super important, that you create that exit strategy, you create that exit plan, and you stay out. The next thing I would recommend would be to start networking. Start building your community of people that you feel comfortable with, you feel safe with them. When you share things with them, it's kept confidential. Start networking and building that type of community so you can now associate yourself with those type of people. And then the next thing would be, if you need to seek legal counsel, then you need to seek legal advice for stuff like this. Because where finances is involved, you need to get help for that. Children is involved, you need to get help for that as well too. And whatever other things you have going on, so even start learning how to save, how to do financial planning and budgeting. These things are really important. And we don't think about these things really, but there's people out there that are going through stuff like this, and this is my baby. I just know what it's like, and I just would love to help somebody get out of something like this. And even after you go through all of this, then you now need to execute that safety plan. And it's not over yet, because the next step is now to move forward and start the healing process. So this is what I would leave with someone who wants to know more. This is something that is very personal and dear to me because I have my own experience. And I was so grateful of how my timing was right. And there was plenty times where I was uncomfortable to make the move, and I wanted to, but I knew I had to stay still. It wasn't the right time. My safety, it wasn't safe for me to leave. And this is some of the conversations that I do have on, like I said, with my clients, because of what I specialize in mostly. These are my conversations when it comes to relationship. They want to leave. They have financial ties with them, and they don't know what's the first step, what to do.
So you've realized you're in an abusive relationship, but you feel like you can't leave. So what do you do in the meantime? When you can't stay away, work on seeing what's in front of you. When you start to see the narcissist for who they are, they'll often start to pull you closer and be nice. You need to live in reality. Stop resisting the idea that they're abusive. Don't make excuses for why they're being abusive. Abuse is a choice. My 3 steps for breaking a trauma bond is: number 1, educate yourself. Number 2, learn about yourself. How'd you get here? And number 3, build a future and learn self-love. Part of your education is learning to accept them for exactly who they are. A narcissistic abuser who doesn't want to change. You can't control your partner. You can't change them. You can't make them understand. Also, they already understand. They just don't
Domestic violence
care.
is a situation that is extremely hard to get out of for multiple reasons. Trauma bonds are insanely strong. The best way to avoid an abusive relationship is to know the warning signs early. Here are 15 warning signs that your partner is or may become abusive. The first one is love bombing. The ironic thing that so many men comment is choose better men. Many abusers have perfected the art of coming off as a good guy, as a gentleman. They're the ultimate manipulators. They wine and dine you. They tell you everything you want to hear. That you are meant for them, and no one has ever made them feel this way. They make you believe they're your soulmate. Abusers don't come out swinging. They'll tell them they'll love them faster than normal. They'll want to move in faster than normal. They'll want to get married faster than normal. They want this person absolutely hooked, so that when they start abusing them, the person will forgive them. Because this isn't who they are. Because they know the man that he can be. They'll end up believing the abuser when they blame it on them. Because the abuser was so great before, and so it must be their fault because they weren't like this before. But it is and was never your fault. That's who that person is at the core. This is hard because some people genuinely do fall in love really fast, and there are some amazing stories out there. So the most important thing is to pay attention to how he treats you after he's landed you. This will differentiate between love and manipulation, which brings us to point 2. Abuse is progressive, so this will happen slowly. They'll make small comments, put downs, start judging everything you do, and criticize you. They might even say these things jokingly, but they mean it. Number 3, are they abnormally jealous? Does he think that you're flirting with every guy you talk to? Does he accuse you of cheating out of nowhere? 4, are they controlling? Do they demand you share your location? Do they control what you wear? Do they control who you see? Do they control where you go? 5, you want to pay attention to how they talk about other people, especially women. Do they use derogatory words for women? Are all of their exes crazy? When they see or hear a story about a woman getting hit or raped, do they ask what she did to deserve it? If so, run. 6, pay attention to how he talks about you in front of other people. Does he put you down jokingly? Or does he tell people things that you asked him not to share? 7, does he support your accomplishments? Does he celebrate them or does he belittle them? It sounds trivial, but it's important. 8, do they respect your no or do they guilt you into things you don't want to do? This counts in the bedroom as well. 9, are they quick to anger? Do they pick random fights and blame them on you? Tell you that you just drive them crazy? 10, do they use intimidation? Do they throw, punch, or destroy things when they're mad? Do they drive recklessly during a fight to scare you? Do they block doors or exits to prevent you from leaving? Remember, they will hit things around you before they hit you. Don't let someone gaslight you into believing that that's not abuse because they didn't actually hit you, they just hit the wall. It's abuse. 11, pay attention to how they talk about your friends and family. Abusers want to cut off their victim support system. This starts with family and friends. If they don't like your family and friends, constantly complain about them and forbid you from seeing them. It's a red flag. Many abusers will even make up lies about family and friends to drive that wedge. 12, a lot of abusers will try and make you financially dependent on them, cutting off access to funds, take away your credit cards, or making you quit your job, even if you don't want to, so you have to rely on him. 13, if you feel like you're always walking on eggshells around them, that is a huge red flag. 14, do they gaslight you? Abusers will use gaslighting to sow self-doubt and confusion in their victims. They distort reality to force their victims to question their own judgment and intuition. And lastly, number 15, a past history of violence. If he has a record of domestic violence or restraining or protective orders out against him, run. He'll try and gaslight you by just saying his exes were crazy. And maybe 1% of the time that's true, but 99% of the time it's not, and it's just manipulation. If any of these resonate with you, please reach out to a loved one. I've also included the number to the domestic violence hotline in the caption. I know it's hard, but I promise you there's a better life on the other side. You will find someone who treats you right, and you deserve that. Everyone deserves that.
I just wanted to cover how I found out I was in an abusive relationship, not my current. And it's taken me a minute to film this because every time I think about the situation, I either want to cry or get violent. Some of you may or may not know, but Jackie's my best friend. My baby's actually named after her, and she's a godmom to my baby. So a few housekeeping things. Don't ask me any personal questions about Jackie. That's weird. Don't even put it in the comments because I'm probably going to block you. Okay, but what I want to talk about is potential red flags in dating that you will see that might lead to domestic violence. Now, you might get with someone, things are going well, and that person just flips. But usually when you talk to people who have been in domestic violence situations, they'll tell you there are warning signs up front. We're going to talk about what those warning signs can look like. We've been talking about dating. We can talk about red flags, green flags, all that stuff. These are domestic violence red flags. And if you have a few more, please put them in the comments below. Let's talk about this. The first thing this person's going to try to do is get you alone. They're going to try to isolate you as much as possible. This might look like a few different things. They might go to the family barbecue with you, but as soon as you get to the barbecue, they're texting you, hey, let's get out of here within 15 minutes of you guys showing up. Or they're sitting off by themselves at a table by themselves. They're not trying to get to know your aunts. They're not trying to get to know your cousins. They're not trying to get to know your friends. They're just on their own, doing their own thing, okay? Or could be the opposite. They're extra charming, but once you leave, they have a bad attitude and they tell you they don't want to be around these people. They talk bad about them. What do they have to say that's bad about your family and friends? Really listen to what they're saying about those people. Do you believe those things about those people, or is this something that they're making up? That can let you know that they're trying to isolate you. Another way that they try to isolate you is that they just don't show up to family functions or friend functions. They tell you to go on your own, but maybe, an hour after you getting there, they tell you, you've got to come back, be with me, you're being selfish, you don't want to spend time with me. That lets you know they're trying to isolate you. Be wary. The second thing you'll notice is that they're making jokes about the she's, the theys, and the gays, okay? They're making jokes, haha, funny about women, about trans women, about gay folks, right? Probably in your friend group, they're making fun of those people. That is a huge red flag. Number one, it shows a lack of respect for the people in your community who support and love you. Number two, it's showing you that they only believe that masculinity is the only form of being, and it shows a huge lack of respect between the masculine and the feminine, especially if they're making jokes about other women, their appearance, the way they dress, all that stuff. That's letting you know exactly where they stand in the patriarchy, and they think that men rule.
And they will continue to think that way and eventually show you that they think that way in the way that they verbally abuse you. So if they're making jokes about your friend group, or they're making violent jokes, especially violent jokes against trans folks, y'all run in the other direction, because it shows a lack of respect for humans in general. And that is definitely someone that you don't want to have in your space, let alone raise children with. Gross. Ugh. The third one should be pretty obvious, but I feel like it's overlooked a lot, and that is bouts of rage. I feel like this is overlooked because, you know, you're dating someone, they look good, they're charming, whatever, and then they have this like uproar of emotions and rage, and maybe they're like throwing stuff, or they're violent, or whatever it is, they're yelling. These are huge red flags, especially when somebody's dating, because it shows that they don't know how to regulate their own emotions. And eventually they'll start taking those emotions out on you, either verbally or physically. What this can look like in dating is, say you're in a car with somebody, they're driving and, you know, someone cuts them off. How do they act? You know, do they have road rage? Are they then trying to like maneuver their car in a way that's dangerous? You know, you're in the passenger seat, they're driving, they don't care about anybody's life, but they're trying to get around this person and cut them off to prove a point. They're flipping them off, they're yelling, they're screaming. All that because someone cut you off? That's crazy. People die over that, right? So that's definitely something to look out for. These outbursts of rage. And I'm just talking about like having a bad day. I'm talking about like anger, temper, yelling, screaming, cussing, all that stuff can really let you know that someone's not ready for a relationship. It could potentially turn into domestic violence. I'm gonna jump on my soapbox really quickly about domestic violence. The only way out of domestic violence situation is to leave. I know so many women who would have lost their life, and so many women who did lose their life because they thought that things were getting better. They were praying for the person, they were in therapy together. Somebody who doesn't know how to manage their emotions needs a medical licensed professional to work with them, usually in a rehab situation. They're usually inpatient or maybe outpatient, but going on a regular basis to fix their problems. You are not going to fix their problems. That is not why you're there. That is not why you're dating them. That's not why you're married to them. Is not to fix them. Your life should be better. It should be easier. You deserve more. So if you are in this situation, I want to encourage you to get out, to leave, because the only way out is usually death. And I would hate to see that happen to anybody. So I'll leave you in closing. Be safe out there. Look out for these red flags. Look out for the yellow flags. If you see it in a friend, don't be afraid to have that conversation with them, because you might end up saving their life. I love you all. Good luck.
When you are planning your escape, let me explain. I've mentioned this in several videos prior to, but I need to make this really, really clear. When you are planning your escape from the narcissist, you cannot show your hand. You can't alert the narcissist to what it is you're doing. You cannot get to a point where you're reacting to the abuse and you blurt out, well, I'm just going to leave you anyway. You can't do it. And I know that's hard. Do you know how many freaking times I have said things and I'm like, shit, I just set myself back at least a few months. Listen, it's so hard. I know it is. But the minute they figure out or they catch on to you trying to leave, they are going to block every single exit there is. And that is why you have to lay low. You got to continue to play the game. You have to make sure that that narcissist does not think you are trying to do anything at all. So all that confidence that you're building within yourself, all that power, all that strength that you already had, but now you're really feeling it, you're going to have to keep that hidden for just a little while longer. You're going to need all that anyway once you're out, but the narcissist can't know shit until you are out. And the only reason the narcissist is going to be made aware that you're out is if you have children and they are now served, whatever the case, however you handle that situation. But if you are married and there's no children, that is it. You break all ties, all communications. You block on every single social media platform. You block every phone number. In fact, you go change your damn phone number because they're gonna swirl in with every other number in the book you've never seen, and you're gonna pick up not knowing. You're going to change your email addresses. You're going to do all the things that identify you. You're going to take that away. You're going to take that away because every single thing that you've ever shared with the narcissist is banked in here. So you go to change your email account or your social media platform address, and you may use something that pops into your head right away because you've said it before. No. You cannot use anything you've ever said before. But most importantly, and I cannot stress this enough, the narcissist cannot know that you are trying to leave. So when they come at you and they want to start a fight, you let that fight play out how it would have normally prior to you knowing that you're creating this escape plan. This is very hard, and I fucked this up many times. But I'm telling you, they cannot know you're leaving in order to leave successfully. Don't say a word. Don't show your hand.
My youngest daughter was just 6 weeks old. I left my husband and my house in the middle of the night to go to a women's shelter. Had no money. I just packed some diapers in a bag. The women's shelter paid for the taxi for me to get there. And I put both my kids in a taxi. I'm going to show you guys some pictures from that time because even though obviously it was a really bad situation to be in, when I arrived at that women's shelter, I felt like I had literally arrived in heaven. Here, me and my kids are at the women's shelter, and even though, yes, you can see a little bit of sadness in my eyes, I felt safe here. These women at the women's shelter nurtured me in a way that I did not know I even needed to be nurtured. Really thinking, Michelle, did you not have anyone around you that could have helped you so you wouldn't have to go to a women's shelter? Here's the thing. It takes a woman an average of 7 times to leave their abuser, and I definitely was not exempt from this. By this point, I had already tried to leave my ex-husband a few different times, to the point where my friends had even hired moving trucks to come to my house to take my things and myself and my kid to leave my ex-husband. Between the time that they had ordered the truck to get to my house, my husband had convinced me to stay. And I kept in touch with the women's shelter for many years after that because honestly, I'm telling you, they were just so maternal and nurturing. And on the last time that I went to visit them, I was asking about some of the other women that were in the women's shelter with me. They told me the story about this one woman, and I've told this story before on my TikTok. One of the women, I think she had 6, 7, maybe even 8, like a lot of kids, okay? They told me that her husband, she actually went back to her husband after her stay there, and he murdered her. Anyways, definitely not an easy conversation, but a conversation that needs to be had. And anytime I speak about it, I always get messages from women that are either still in their abusive relationship or marriage, or have recently left, and I will continue to share my story.
Things that helped me get out of a toxic and abusive relationship. Well, a lot went into it, but these are the top 3 things. I stopped making excuses for him and his abusive behavior and saw him for who he truly was. Lots and lots of yoga. And I went no contact.
A woman will tell you, but I love him, you know. Do you love yourself is the question. Why would you stay with a dude that's beating your ass because you love him? The answer is because you love him more than you love yourself, or you love the idea of him. So what do they do to get out of those situations? They start to gain a little confidence. They start to realize that they will be fine without this prick. And then they escape. Some don't. What's the difference between the ones that escape and the ones that don't? A decision, really. Now, people can say, well, Brad, how can you say what it's like to be a battered woman? Because I'm a battered woman. Don't you guys know that we get to identify as women if we want to now?
So when you're dealing with a narcissistic person, when you're dealing with an abusive person, and you feel like you're trapped, like you're stuck, like you can't get out of the relationship, you have to create an escape plan, specifically if you cannot afford to get out because you're married to this person, you have kids with this person. That is where you create an escape plan. What I did was in the end of 2019, I realized this relationship is very abusive. I need to get out because it's never going to get any better. 2020, I started learning a whole lot, like NPD disorder and what it looks like, the traits, the characteristics, what it looks like to even be in an abusive relationship. It took me exactly 2 years to finally get out. My circumstances of how I was able to get out is very different from most people. It was like a blessing in disguise for me to leave my relationship, but it was also very unexpected. But one thing I did do was I had decided, okay, how can I make money? What can I do to make enough money to be able to be on my own? Instead of focusing on one job with one check, focus on having multiple streams of income. I personally am all for entrepreneurship, having a small business, multiple ways of making extra money, other ways, whatever you're good at, whatever you really enjoy, make that into money, because a lot of times you can make more money doing that than working a 9 to 5. Write down the plan, write down a list, write down as many ideas as you can. So start working on affirmations, start manifesting that shit. By this date, at this time of my life, I'm going to be financially free. You don't have to worry about how, you don't have to worry about the logistics of it. Just know this is what I'm going to do. There's going to come a day where I'm no longer going to need this person financially, because I'm going to be free to be on my own. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Do that. Create your escape plan. Write a list of ideas, things that you're good at, things you enjoy, different ways you can make money. Anything to get out. Finances is usually the top reason a lot of people, especially women, stay in very abusive relationships. It's not 1950s no more, so we have so many more better opportunities as women where we can make our own money, we can make our own bag. If you want to go back to school, that's going to take 2 or 3 years. Do that. At least it's a plan. You never know what could change or what could happen between that time. Make your escape plan. Get out as soon as you can. And during the time that you're working on your escape plan, work on leaving the relationship emotionally. So if you can't leave physically yet, you start working on emotionally detaching. In the beginning of 2020, all the way up until I left my relationship, which was in September of 2022, that was when I started really working on emotional detachment, because when you emotionally detach, physical detachment becomes even easier. You could do it.
I want to talk about domestic violence and how, as a woman, you can protect yourself from ever being in any of these kinds of relationships. Let me give you a little backstory. I used to be in a very, very toxic relationship. It was very, very obvious to me that this man was dogging me out, cheating on me, treated me horrible. It just was so dangerous for me and my health. I was not eating, I was anxiety, depression, all kinds of crazy stuff, unhealthy. And the reason that I was in this relationship, the reason that I kept myself in this relationship, was because I believed the lies and the thoughts that I deserved this kind of treatment. I believed in my heart that I was not going to get any better than him. And domestic violence survivors, women who go through domestic violence, when they have thoughts like these. When you have thoughts like these, you're a perfect candidate for possibly falling into the trap of being in a relationship with a man who hurts you. Number one thing that you need to do as a woman is guard your heart. Do not trust men. Stop trusting men. Stop emotionally investing in men very soon. Especially be careful if you have a family background that is dysfunctional. Maybe you have daddy issues or mommy issues, or you've been SA'd before. Especially if this is the case, be very, very, very careful about what men you allow in your life. You are a woman. You are a precious gem. You need to guard your heart. Above all things, guard your heart, because darkness will come looking for you as a woman. I'm telling you right now, darkness will come looking for you as a woman. And the number one thing that you can do is allow a man to prove his true character. Take things very, very slow with men. Do not trauma dump on them. Do not trust them easy. Be very safe. And at the second, the inkling, the gut feeling that you feel inside of you that this man is cheating on you, manipulating you, get out. Get out. Despite all your feelings telling you, but I like him and he's nice and, oh, I'm really lonely. That's a big one. I don't care if you're lonely. I don't care if you feel like you need a man. I don't care. Get out. Because these men who manipulate you and cheat on you will one day possibly physically turn on you and hurt either you and or your kids. Guard your heart. That is my biggest piece of advice, my biggest piece of wisdom, is value yourself more and protect yourself by taking precautionary measures with a man before trusting him. That's really the best way.
Domestic violence, there are certain things that you can apply for to recoup some money that you may have lost. There's something called the Victims Compensation Fund, and if you're a victim of domestic violence and you apply for it, you're eligible to receive up to $1,500.
With all this abuse going on the internet, I just want to talk about early signs that you're with the abuser. And before you ask, this is the elote chips. With the elote, it's like crack. But anyway, early signs of an abuser. That person throws temper tantrums. They like to throw shit around. They like knock shit over, punch walls. They're gonna be knocking your ass out next. Okay, this person is controlling and isolating you from your family. They're saying everybody bad for you. They were talking bad about somebody in your family, your friends. They're trying to get you to themselves. This person making you feel crazy, making you feel like you didn't see what you saw, you didn't hear what you heard. That's why you need to write everything down. When you see something that don't feel right, write it down. So you go back to it, because they'll try to make you feel like you're crazy. Record it, do something. And this one is so slight and it's subjective. But when somebody doesn't acknowledge the things that you find important in life, like if you tell this person this is extremely important to me and they continue to disregard it, that's emotional abuse. Now, you could decide whether you want to stay or not, but that could lead to other things, just in my experience. But I just want to save somebody from possibly getting hurt. I sleep better at night. So, do with this as you please.
For women that are going through domestic violence, like we previously spoke about earlier, what's some advice you would give a woman that's going through it currently?
I would tell her to find the best support system. Find a way to get out. It never gets better. It always gets worse. Rest in peace to my friend. And stay strong. I feel like a lot, don't go back. I mean, it's easy to say don't go back, but, try to have your boundaries. Domestic violence is not cute, nor is it fun. And it messes you up mentally.
Were you in a relationship with narcissistic abuse, domestic violence, and when you finally left, you expected and hoped for understanding from your friends and family, only to feel less supported, less understood, and more isolated than ever before? First of all, I wouldn't be making a video on this if it hadn't happened to me, so you're not alone. I believe that domestic violence and abuse is something that everyone knows can happen. They know that it exists, but they don't think that it will ever happen to them or to someone that they know. And if you think about it, when you were in the relationship, I know for a fact I didn't anticipate that I would get into an abusive relationship. And when I started experiencing the abuse, I doubted my reality. I questioned if this was really what was happening to me. And just like other people that hear about the fact that you were in a relationship with extensive abuse, you can hear things like, oh, are you really sure that that's what happened? Or, oh, it sounds like you were just going through a tough time. They're very dismissive of it. And the reason is because of their own discomfort around the subject. Many of us are not given the tools or the education to understand all of the very complex components of narcissistic abuse and domestic violence. And as a result, they don't understand how to effectively support you. To add another layer to this, this could happen to a friend or family member that lives down the road from you. And even then, it is still difficult for some people to effectively support the victim because of their discomfort or their lack of education and knowledge. But it gets particularly difficult when the victim moves away to a different location or a different country. The friends and family have to adjust to their absence. And when they return after such a horrific event, instead of talking about all the wonderful things that you did while you're away, you have to turn the conversation to, I left this country and left the relationship because I was being abused. And in my case, trapped in a foreign country, hiding from my abuser. It's a pretty intense subject. And sadly, other people's emotional capacities are sometimes smaller. Maybe it's because they're going through their own issues. Maybe their family is having problems, health issues, relationship issues, money issues. I mean, life is tough, right? Or it's just subjects that just feel too uncomfortable and too traumatic for them to be able to effectively support, which is really awful for the victim, because in a time of need, we feel this tremendous lack of support. We really need validation after what happened to us, and it makes us feel even more isolated. And sadly, I've spoke to hundreds of other survivors of narcissistic abuse and domestic violence, and they have claimed a lot of the same experience, that they really don't feel like anyone understands. And I think that people try to understand, but unless you've experienced narcissistic abuse, domestic violence, post-separation abuse, being trapped in a foreign country like myself, it isn't really something you can explain to someone unless you've gone through it. And I'm not saying that this happens in 100% of cases. I know that there are many friends and family members that are extremely supportive to victims that have gone through domestic violence and abuse. This was one of the driving forces as to why I started my TikTok channel in the first place. I want to continue to build a community of people who have gone through similar things to myself. I understand this. I see you. I hear you. I want you to feel less isolated. I want you to feel like you're not alone, because this is an extremely isolating experience. And I honestly think that while my life is way better for leaving the narcissist, and I will continue to heal and get better, I know that after having this experience, my life is never going to be the same.
Put the baby to sleep, and I already had the baby, and I went to sleep myself, and I could hear him come in. And so I would play off like I'm sleeping, because I was scared of him. And he comes in and he's messing around with drawers. He's opening up drawers. And then I could watch him, but I'm playing it off, and I'm trying to sleep, playing it off like I'm sleeping. And then he grabs a gun. I could see a gun in his hand. And then I started to pray mentally, God, help me. Help me, Lord. Help me, Lord. And then he comes over and he shakes me. And he's like, hey, wake up. And he puts the gun on my head. He goes, if you ever leave me, I'm gonna kill you. I was in fear. I didn't know what to do. And because he was so drunk, I didn't say anything. I didn't want to start any arguments because he had a gun. I said, I'm gonna die here tonight. And then I just started praying. I went in the other room with my baby. I just started praying. I said, Lord, help me. Get me out of this relationship, or I'm gonna die. Either it's gonna be me or my daughter, or we're both gonna die. God, help me. Get me out of this nightmare, Lord. After that, I decided to leave him for good. I called my parents, said, Mom, Dad, please, I need your help. Please come pick me up. They picked me up, and I put a restraining order on him, and I didn't see him for several months. I cut off all contact with him, and he was not allowed to see the baby as well. Several months went by, and we heard that he was getting his act together, that he went to go seek some help. He was supposedly going to church, and he was going to AA meetings, and he wanted to talk to me. Deep inside, at that time, I didn't know that that was called discernment. Something was telling me, don't talk to him. But I didn't listen to that voice, and I know that that was the Holy Spirit.
Okay, so some of you might have heard about the Play My Ex's abusive voicemail trend that was on TikTok. If you haven't, go put that in on TikTok, and you'll see a lot of videos of women and even some men playing voicemails from their abusive exes and dancing to it, and like it's funny, but it's not funny. So if you haven't seen some of them, I'm going to play a few of them after this girl's message, and then I'll come back.
Play entirely too much with people who are actively telling you they would unalive you. The whole Play My Ex's voicemail trend, hilarious. I find it to be extremely funny. But the ones where the men are like saying the most outlandish things and topping it off and sprinkling in that they would unalive you. They're going to unalive you or smack the crap out of you or cause you physical harm in some kind of way. It's not funny. Like, it's not funny. And when they leave those voicemails, and I know that's not the first time that you heard them say that to you. The very first time somebody tells me they're going to unalive me, we're good, we're done. Because you can never underestimate what people are merging truth with. Because sometimes jokes, most times, jokes are mingled with truth somewhere deep in it. You got one time to tell me you're going to unalive me. We no longer go together. Because that's not funny. I don't care how mad you are. That should never even cross your mind to hurt me in any kind of way. That's all I know.
Hey, I'm really sorry about the last voicemail I left you. No, I'm not. I don't give a fuck. You do what you gotta do. I want you to make a move. I want you to do something. I'm actually waiting for you to do something to me. And then I'm going to make my ultimate move on you. So, you go ahead and do something to me. And then, because I have nothing to lose. So you just go ahead and fucking do what you got to do. And then I want you to do it. And I'm coming right for you. Like, not immediately. I'm coming immediately for you. I'm locked and loaded, if that makes any sense. So, anyways,
I mean, you weren't wrong. I do regret being mean to you, but also I can't help but feel that you're a messy, nasty, gross, unattractive hoe, and you're for the streets. And I wish I didn't feel that way, because I love the shit out of you. I regret even saying that, but...
My bad. I was gonna call you, but I don't think I'd be able to understand you with all those dicks in your mouth. So, if you wanted me, you shouldn't have left my bed empty. Have a better life. I was about to cut off an ambulance right there. It's a good thing I looked. So, yeah, I'm gonna try and fuck your best friend. I don't know if she'll be into it or not. I think she fucked you already, actually. So that'd be cool. That's pretty cool of just a lot of you. I didn't realize we just ran a whorehouse with our best friends. So the next time you want to see my heart, I'll go ahead and pan-sear it for you and feed it to your dogs. Eat a dick and die.
Once you get a man to that point, he will never love the same. I'm so sorry. I apologize.
Oh, what happened? You're just taking actions and deleting my pages? That's not nice. Why are you doing that? You say it's harassment? It's not harassment. Harassment is me coming to your door and bothering you that way. I have every freedom of speech to say whatever I want to, and it's not slander or libel if it's the truth. You should go to the police and get a restraining order on me. That's a good idea. Because you're too coward to do anything else.
I didn't do nothing. I put in my fucking notes that I need a fan because I'm hot now. What the fuck? How the fuck does it? Bro, I'm finna tweak out on my dead cousin. I'm finna tweak out for. Please don't do this. Bro, please.
Pick up the phone, you stupid bitch.
So that is all I have to share. Hopefully I won't have any trouble uploading this video because this is my longest video since I stopped using StreamYard. I use iMovie now. I don't want to have to delete anything because there was a lot of good information in this video, and I hope and I pray that each one of you will share it at least one time. You could save a life, and it's free. Just hit the share button once or twice, and this video could get out to so many women who are in this situation and don't know what to do. They're lost. They don't have family. They don't have friends, nobody to talk to because they've been just cut off from everybody. We know how that works. So yeah, ladies, I hope you got something out of this if you're in this situation also. And like I always say, we really do need your engagement in the comments, because your comments and your advice not only helps the algorithm push us through where other people can see us, it helps the women who are reading your comments that may take your advice, and it helps them to know that they're not alone. So I will talk to you ladies next time. This video, yeah, it was hard seeing all of this, but yeah, I will talk to you ladies next time. Until then, like, comment, and share. Bye.